There appears to be growing geographic splits in the U.S. housing industry.
A new report reveals that home prices are declining out west, but the market is booming in the east. According to Black Knight Inc., home prices fell in all 12 of the nation's largest housing markets west of Texas. Meanwhile, in nearly 40 of the biggest metro areas east of Colorado, excluding Austin, the cost of a new house increased. Holden Lewis is a home and mortgage expert at NerdWallet and joining us now to kind of break it all down and figure out what's going on. So why are we seeing such a stark contrast in the housing market on either coast? I mean, there has been an expectation that during the pandemic, there's a lot of movement. People maybe, went to live in places that they normally wouldn't because they could work remotely. And now that's kind of leveling off. But is there more to it?
The main factor really is just simply that house prices were so high out west just to start with. And then when the Fed cut interest rates really low at the beginning of the pandemic, that just allowed people to really bid up the prices of houses all across the country. And out west, you already had a very high level where a lot of people couldn't afford homes. And so when prices went up, that just cast a lot more people out of that affordability thing. So, farther east, home prices didn't start out so high. So when they rose, there's still kind of a reservoir of people who can afford to buy homes. And that has kept prices a little bit level. But, you're actually starting to see declines in a few markets like Washington, D.C., Dallas.
That's surprising.
So, well, as you know, we saw a housing market boom out west in the 1990s as a result of the growing tech industry. But we've seen recently tech layoffs in that industry across the board. So how is that impacting housing out there?
It's had some impact, but really the biggest impact is the rising mortgage rates. I mean, when you go from 3% to 6.5% for a 30-year fixed rate loan in less than a year, you end up with a lot of people just simply not being able to afford to buy a house where maybe they could stretch and afford it when the rate was 3.5%, 6.5%. No. So you have just a lot fewer people able to afford to buy homes. And so something has to give. Either the interest rate has to go down or prices have to go down. And that's why you're seeing prices falling in some of these markets.
Yeah, it sort of seems to, like out west, that there was, what's the word I'm looking for? Like less of a range in housing prices. Like a house here on this side that would be just a regular house is like $1 million house in Seattle. Right, you know what I mean? Right. So there's kind of like you don't see the 200 or the 300s out there the way that you might see here. Or I live in Philly, so in Philly there's always a range in house prices. Also, there's a range in the South, and one of the things that we saw was an influx of people and companies moving to the South as a result of the pandemic. Was that a permanent thing? Is that still happening?
I think it's a permanent thing. Really, that move to the Sun Belt, as we all know, that started in the 60s. Right. So yes, it continues, and it's easier to build here in the South. I'm in Fort Worth, Texas, and there's just more room. There are fewer regulations that discourage building. So, you can keep house prices affordable in places where you can just, if you're a developer, you can build.
So how is the high level of inflation and the fact that the Federal Reserve continues to raise interest rates impacting this trend?
It is not helping. People, their paychecks are already strained. And then when you have rising house prices and rising interest rates, they just, there's just not enough room in the paycheck for folks to spend on housing. And so, I think that you're going to see a moderation in house prices kind of all across the country. You might see house prices fall in a lot of markets in the East eventually. House prices are like a whole lot of things. The trends start in the West and they gradually move east. And I think that might be something that's happening here.
Right. Well, get the house while you can if you're living in the East. Holden Lewis, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.